So last week, guys, we didn't have our Thursday episode of the Property Sourcing Success Show because we were hosting our Zoom workshop. But as is the usual run of form, guys, on a Thursday evening, we're back tonight with another episode of the Property Sourcing Success Show. And tonight I want to do a short episode, as all our episodes usually are, on the question that was put to me very recently: can I package auction properties to an investor? Can auction properties be packaged and sold to an investor if you are running a portfolio building business? And remember, I will use the term portfolio building business. That also means deal packaging and property sourcing. So this is a question, guys, that I've been asked on more than one occasion from those who are actually running portfolio building business. And to be perfectly honest, the short answer is absolutely yes. Tick, tick, tick. The longer answer is yes, but in order to source and sell a deal at an auction deal to an investor, one aspect has to be absolutely critical. And that is the fact that you actually have an investor on board, pretty important. B, they're already qualified and committed. And a side note to that, qualified and committed means have passed your very robust qualification process. They have paid you their commitment fee or registration fee, and they have signed your terms and conditions of business. That is the definition of a qualified and committed investor. An investor who simply says, well, show me the deals, send me the deals, and then we can talk. That is an investor that you should typically run a mile from. And the third point is that they are ready to act upon your bid being accepted. Really important when you're dealing at auction. This nonsense of firing in an offer and hoping that someone will come forward to buy should your offer be accepted will simply not cut the mustard when you're at auction circumstances. So you will need to be able to provide proof of funds up front. You will need to submit ID up front. You will also need to pay an entry fee up front. And none of that is possible if you are following the advice of some of the absolute buffoon gurus that we have out there. So auction is a fab way, guys, of securing deals. And if you've built up a good relationship with auction houses, which, by the way, I absolutely should suggest that you do in a very similar fashion to the way that we do it in our business with estate agents, then you will be granted access to pre-auction lots in advance, which, let's face it, as a property investor, it's a really desirable position to be in. In fact, our latest commercial to residential development that we've had in planning for what seems like a eternity, we got that pre-auction with an auction house because of the systems and the marketing that we had in place with that particular auction house. So you can have this hybrid dual approach with estate agents, letting agents, but also with auction houses. It's a super source of off-market tasty deals for property sourcers, and it absolutely is not, guys, it's not utilized as much as it should be. And it's purely down to the fact that most people who are running portfolio building businesses and doing it on behalf of investors, they don't actually know how to do it. So what I want to do here in tonight's episode is run you through the exact steps that you should take when it comes to packaging and selling on an auction deal to an investor. This is on record, this is on Spotify, so if you're listening to this while you're out walking, if you're listening to it when you're driving, if you're tuning in when you're making the dinner, if you're tuning in when you're putting the kids and getting them ready for bed, whatever you're doing, you can press pause and you can always go back and replay. But if you're sitting with some notes now and a pen and paper, these are the notes you need to take. The exact steps when it comes to packaging and selling an auction deal to an investor. You're going to, number one, want to identify the property or properties that fit the investor criteria at upcoming auctions. So it's not like you're going to throw mud and scattergun approach at every property that's coming up in the auction. You're going to want to, in advance, identify the property or properties that fit your investor's criteria by 70% or more that are upcoming at a current auction. This is not a scattergun approach. We're not looking, if your investor is on the market for properties that they can add value to, perhaps it's terrace properties, buy-to-let properties, you're not out there looking for a farm for them. Okay, let's be very clear on that. The second thing that you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to prepare your analysis pack for your investor, running through the high level figures and what we call the best and worst case scenarios. So this is what we'd really love to secure the property at. This is our walk away. The exact same process that you would do if you were running through the high level figures with your investor with a property through an agent or online. The third thing that you'll want to do is, where possible, you will want to view the property with the investor so that they're not buying blind should they secure the deal. The last thing that you want to deal with is an investor who has secured a property at auction via your bidding, and then they are hit with buyer's remorse because they didn't view the property. And although it's not your fault, best believe they will make you feel like you coerced them into it. So word to the wise, if you're doing it via auction for an investor, try where possible to view the property with the investor by your side. The fourth thing that you're going to want to do is, after deal analysis and after you do that walkthrough and viewing, get the investors buy-in for the property at an agreed walk-away price. So you will want to sit down, you've viewed the property, you've run through your high-level numbers with the investor, and then get their seal of approval on the agreed walk-away price. The point at the auction where the bid has gone above your ceiling mark. Get that number. The fifth thing that you're going to want to do is make abundantly clear to the investor that a solicitor of their choosing is required to view the legal pack. This removed any liability from your end, and it should be documented on email and paperwork. You are clearly making them aware that as the investor, as the potential buyer, that their solicitor should review the legal pack, and that takes any liability away from you, from the investor coming back and saying, you've sold me a donkey. Well, I didn't. I told you you had to read the legal pack. I told you your solicitor should do it. If you chose not to, shame on you. The sixth thing that you're going to do is, all systems go, bid on the property or properties in questions with a pre-agreed top bid already in place as per the steps that I've just run through. And seventh, hopefully that you win the bid and secure the deal. Sourcing at auction, guys, is actually, like, genuinely, it's a widely underutilized strategy, and it's crazy why more people don't focus on it. The key to being able to do really well at auction, though, is having quality investors on your books. If you've got flaky investors, if you've got non-committal style investors, if you've got cowboy investors, they are not the types of clients that you want to be working with in an auction environment. But if you've got high level, committed, serious, proof of funds, commitment fee paid, onboard fee paid, if you're working with those types of investors, which you absolutely should be, then buying at auction, sourcing at auction is a really lucrative strategy, and you should be utilizing more of it. Now, keep in mind that sourcing at auction actually allows you to generate cash flow quicker, because sourcing fees are paid when a deal completes. And auction terms are typically a 28-day completion, which is really significantly quicker than the standard 3 months or sometimes longer when you're going through the standard sales process, when it's a general conveyancing process. So this is absolutely food for thought. Incorporate auctions, guys, into your sourcing strategies for boosted speed and cash flow in 2025. If this has been useful, if this has given you some food for thought, let me know in the comments. Are you sourcing at auction already? Have you tried sourcing at auction? Are you working with the high caliber, high quality investors that you need to be to do this? Hope this has been helpful. Back again next Thursday night with another episode of the Property Sourcing Success Show. Have a great evening, guys.